Okay, in this video I'm going to be talking about the iFlight Lawson Battle Axe build that I did. Actually, I've been flying this for a few weeks now. Haven't gotten around to talking about the build yet, and I'm going to actually talk more about these XING motors here in a little bit, so I'm going to give you a lot of details on this. I'm sure you guys are interested in that. A lot of these parts I've already have videos on, so I'm going to put the links to those videos down in the description. I've already done a frame review, so if you want to see details on the frame, obviously taken apart and put together, there's a video on that. The stack here that this is built on is the F7 twin gyro flight controller. Did a video on that one already, so you can see some details in that video. And the 60 amp 4-in-1 32-bit ESC, the 6S 32-bit ESC. I also did a video on that as well, so link down in the description for that. And the video transmitter here is the iForce 1-watt video transmitter. Also did a video on that, so you can check out those videos to get more details on the parts I'm using here. Just a few notes on the build itself. Oh, no, before I go into that, the camera, I forgot about that. Nothing too special about the camera. It's just a Foxeer Aero Pro. And the thing to know about the camera is that it's a full-size camera. So actually I had to dig this out of my parts bin to put this in. Now obviously there's some mini cameras that have some full-size adapters, but I just wanted to put a full-size camera. Here's just a CCD, Aero camera. Nothing too special about that. So it's got a nice field of view, even though it's only got a 2.5mm lens and it's got a standard 4.3 camera. But it fits nicely in this frame because it's a full-size 28mm width camera. And so in this frame you will need something like that, or some sort of an adapter to take a micro or mini camera to a full-size camera. So keep that in mind on this frame. Now, okay, now to the build. As you can see here, very limited space between the top plate and the main plate here. So I was able to get 2 boards in there for the flight stack. Something to keep in mind when you're trying to build this out. So I ended up putting, even though this video transmitter could go on top of the stack, there wasn't enough room in this particular frame. So I just put it here in the back. Something I would recommend to iFlight is maybe adjusting this frame so they can put a 30x30 board back here on standoffs. There isn't enough space back here, so I just have it basically zip tied here and held in with a zip tie. That's fine. A lot of times people put zip ties in the back here, but they could modify this a little bit and make space here, put some screw holes there, and mount this directly to the frame with some a 30x30 mounting pattern on the bottom side of the bottom plate, or hang it from the top plate. So the 3D printer part here came with the frame, and I just have the VTX antenna coming out, so it's a Pagoda antenna coming out at the top here through the MMCX connector that is routed up that way. Using 2 battery straps that were included with the frame. Comes with nice slots here for the battery straps. So going to need that because I was flying a big battery. This is a 6S setup here. So this is the battery that I was flying, and I recommend. It's a pretty good one. 1100 milliamp hour GNB 6S 130 to 260C. And it's pretty wide, but this is a good 6S setup for freestyle because basically the truck bed here, the top plate is pretty wide. So I just have it sitting back here like this, and I just plug in the battery like so. And I just have laid flat like this, and it fits pretty nicely along the top plate. Not a problem getting this battery in here with the 2 straps. And I got pretty good flight times, at least 4.5 minutes in this one, and very good performance on 1100 milliamps. I wouldn't go too much smaller than that. You could save some weight by going down to like a 1000 milliamp hour battery, but this one seems to be pretty good. The 2208 motors on here are pretty power hungry. Let's see, is there anything else I need to talk about on this build here? I don't think so. Okay, we'll set this aside. Let me wait first, and then I can get that out of the way and talk about the motor. So this is the build, props and all, no battery, no GoPro, and it's around 400 something if I remember right. Yeah, 418.2 grams. So I don't know. You guys can comment on your opinions on whether or not it's too heavy or too light. I thought it felt pretty good. I think that's pretty average for a freestyle build, but it is a 6S build, and the battery is a bit heavier on 6S. So you should keep that in mind. Now let's talk about these motors. I think I posted some photos of this on my Instagram. So if you guys are wondering, why I'm kind of sometimes not doing a lot of in-depth stuff in terms of pictures and things like that, and some of the videos is because I've showed a lot of stuff already on Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram. The link's down in the description, and I usually post really high definition photos on Instagram. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this motor here. I really like this motor. This is probably going to be my go-to favorite motor for these sort of 5-inch heavier freestyle builds, because this is a heavier motor, but for the heavier builds, it just give you a lot more power. This is a low kV version. No, sorry, there's a lower kV version of this one. This is a 1700 kV of this. Is an 1800 kV, and then I think the high kV is, I think they have 2450 and 2650. Not 100% sure if they have the 2650 exists or not. Check the link down below. I know for pretty sure that they have a 2450 for 4S. So I kind of opted for this because I have done a video before on the 2207 at 1700 kV, and I thought that motor felt a little underpowered to me. So I figured go a little more beefier, bigger stator, 22.8 this time, and a little higher kV. And I think this is a really good combination. The motor feels really good in the air, along with the fact that I got that nice F7 flight controller with the twin gyros, that whatever that sensor fusion stuff going on with the 2 gyros active at the same time in Betaflight. Again, check that other video. I talk a lot about that in another video on the flight controller. But yeah, with this motors and that flight controller, it felt really nice. Yeah, it's hard to describe, you know, the difference between before and after, because if you look at the GoPro footage, and it's like, you know, it looks the same, but the feel, the way you're flying it, the way it feels on sticks, just feels different on between, like, say, a 2306 motor or a 2207 motor versus this 22.8. It just feels better to me. Anyway, so this motor has the 9mm bearing, hollow prop shaft here. It does have the set screw. So the 9mm bearing is supposed to be bigger than the 8mm that a lot of these sort of motors in this size have used to have, but I think more and more motors are now coming with the 9mm bearing, so it's becoming more common. It is a smoother bearing, and I don't know if this will come out in the microphone, but you can kind of spin it, you can hear the motor, and when the way the motor sounds in the air is nice and smooth. And you can see the magnets, I think they are curved and winding, solid core copper wire. Nice long motor wire, 6 inches of, I believe this is 20 gauge? I don't know, what's the gauge wire this? Yeah, it's 20 gauge wire. Focus camera. Yeah, it's 20 gauge wire. And it's good enough. It's not drawing a huge amount of current, I don't think, because it is running on 6S. And this would look what it looks like on top. And just have these little grooves there to grab the prop. It does come with the low profile prop nuts here, which I don't like. You can see here, I wish it would have the full size prop nuts. I did suggest that they change up. I think they did to save a little weight. I don't know. I don't like the low profile prop nuts. I'd rather they would go with the full size ones. And then let's go ahead and we'll take the set screw out. Now, I think this has a mechanism in here, like a little washer or something, so you can screw this down real tight. Unlike you can do that on other motors, and it'll still spin. If you screw this down too tight on some other motors without that, the motor won't spin. So it's another thing. Hopefully I'll be able to show you that. Let's go ahead and pop this off. So I'm just going to unscrew this. Sometimes these are kind of hard to unscrew, so nope, popped right off. There's just a little bit of grab, and then it unscrews, no problem. I think this is just a standard M3 screw, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's just an M3 screw. And that's the bearing on the bottom. Let's go and pop this off here. Ooh, this is a really strong magnet. Oh, yeah, powerful magnets here. Should give you a pretty good look at the motor. Nice. I think these are curved. They do look somewhat curved to me. What do you guys think? Some of these alignments of the motor, like the magnets, like the alignment there is a little off. You can see the balancing mud there. So it's been balanced at the factory. Yeah, that's the bearing up on top. So there's the one on the bottom. Again, the 9mm bearing. And you can see a really good look at the windings now. Okay, so I'm going to put this back together. This is going to snap together really quickly, so you don't want to damage it. Oh yeah, let me just show you that mechanism. I think that little... Yeah, I don't know if it's going to show up here or not. No, I can't really see it. I think there's some photos of it up on the product page. I think it's inside, underneath the prop shaft there, like a little rubber washer or something. I guess, yeah, I don't see it here or here. I think it's underneath that lip of that metal, right next to the metal shaft, and that prevents it, or so you can screw down the screw real tight without it causing the motor to seize up. So let me just put this together. This is going to snap together like super quick, so I don't want to hurt myself here. And you don't want to like just let it snap in. You could damage the motor that way. You want to let it kind of gently go in like that. It looks all okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the screw back in and I'll give you a weight measurement. Okay, so I got that screwed in pretty tight. Yeah, it's still spinning, no problem. So that's working pretty good. Okay, so here's the weight of the motor without the prop nut. 37.7 grams. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Yeah, I really like this frame. I like the way this build turned out and the way it flies, and definitely like these motors and all the parts in here. So if you're interested in putting together something similar, I'll put a list of all the parts and everything down in the description as always, so check it out. Yeah, this is definitely one of my better builds recently. Obviously these parts aren't budget friendly, so they're a little pricey. So if you're looking for a more budget build, this is probably not for you. Yeah, because I know some people are going to complain about pricing and stuff, but yeah, these are definitely better parts. I think are worth the money. So in any event, going to show you the flight footage. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.